going on? Let me try to put this headphone in. Yo. What's going on? We back at it again. We finally number one. We number one. They made us number one, but they did it in a sleazy way. Yo, what it do, bro? What's going on? I wanted to go live yesterday morning, but my little boo thing needed me. She be getting off work early in the morning, working overnight. Talk to her so she don't fall asleep on the way home. But you know something that's been bothering me, and I wanted to go live yesterday. This doggone Steve Deace bothers me. This dude bothers me, man. It might bother me. It might really bothers me. I went in the house to go get that water with the bottle, and I forgot it. Hey, that Spring Mountain Valley is the truth. But Steve Deace, that dude bothers me, bro. Like, he really does. Because his man picks against us. Like, he picks against us. Like, this dude picks against us in big games. He picked against us against Penn State. He picked against us against Ohio State. But when we get the matchup against against Bama, oh, now you're so confident, and we gotta prove it against the world. What? You keep that same energy you had, brother. You can talk stuff, I guess. You really shouldn't, but when it's time to make a pick, you pick Alabama. Don't jinx us. Don't jinx us now. You keep picking. You in big games, you pick against us, brother. Don't come over here now. We in the playoff number one, jumping back on when you picked against us against Ohio State. You picked against us against Penn State. Nah, bro. Don't jump back now. Since we number one and everything. Nah, you pick Bama, brother. You make sure you pick Alabama. That's just crazy to me. Somebody picked against us in every big game. Now you sending out cryptic tweets talking about we about to win it all. I just don't get it. But yeah, this matchup, I've been trying to dive into Bama more because I haven't watched Bama that much. I've been trying to dive into them. You know what I'm saying? See what exactly their weaknesses and their strengths are. I see some weaknesses, definitely. I'm really trying to see the defense, what the weaknesses on that defense are. I pretty much know what their offense is about, and I know what Nick Saban is going to try to do for the most part, because Nick Saban's, people can say what they want, and the SEC can crown him. Don't get it twisted. Nick Saban took over the SEC by running old school Big Ten ball. That's how he became who he is. Nick Saban is a Big Ten guy. I know a lot of these SEC homers, they probably don't even know. They probably don't even know that. But he's a Big Ten guy. So when Bama first became dominant, they were doing old school Big Ten football. Run the ball, play action off of it, play great defense. It just so happened he was getting 5 stars and all that, you know how it goes, or how it went. But so on offense, I know he's gonna try to take some pressure off Jalen Milroe, and he's gonna try to establish the run. You know what I'm saying? Then if that goes well, he'll run it down our throat, play action passes. You know, just start throwing those deep bombs, and it's gonna get ugly. You know what I mean? You'll start off testing the waters in the first half, seeing what they can get away with. Then if they can establish that run like they want to and take some pressure off Jalen, all right. Now we can open up everything since we established the run. Second half, you're gonna see a bunch of play action bombs throwing deep, and we're gonna be over here mad. You know what I'm saying? I know what he wants to do on offense if he can. Defense, of course, it's always stop the run, but they've had some problems against teams like Auburn. Auburn had about almost 200 yards rushing on them. You know, Peyton Thorne was horrible in that game. He was horrible, but what he did do was he scrambled for yards, like, you know, kind of like what Penn State was trying to do with Aller against us. You know, have him do those QB draws, quarterback powers and stuff like that out of sets that you think they'd be passing it. So that's how Auburn did it, and they had their running backs were, Auburn's running back were fast. That guy was fast and explosive from what I saw, so that helps, you know. That helps. But yeah, Auburn was able to run it on them, you know, and keep the game close on defense. I still got to watch some more of their games, though. I ain't seen enough. I ain't watched enough. I got to dive more into it. But yeah, you know, everybody's picking against Michigan. Everybody's picking against us. Nobody believes. It's just like when we got Alabama, it's the Alabama of during their dynasty run, you know what I'm saying? That machine that was and is Alabama. And that's not to say that Alabama isn't loaded with talent. A team like that, I always have tons of respect. A team like that, I always give tons of respect. You know what I'm saying? Just off the fact that you've got Nick Saban, who could be considered the GOAT of college football, you know? So, but I dive into these games because if I'm going to talk about it, I want to be knowledgeable about it, you know what I'm saying? But the stakes are higher. Just like this year when I said before the year, I made a video, I might repost it. I said we have to beat Ohio State again this third year because it's gonna pay so much dividends in recruiting, hurting them in recruiting, and also just building up that we haven't lost to y'all in a long time. It's gonna build up that we haven't lost to y'all in a long time. You know what I'm saying? Just like I said, in the fourth quarter, them dudes wasn't confident, really, especially on defense. You know why? They ain't beat Michigan. So the confidence and the pressure goes up. You ain't beat us. That pressure goes up. Kyle McCord, we ain't beat these dudes. Can you do it? Pressure goes up. But where the pressure is for Michigan, I don't want to get too, you know, I start talking about Ohio State, I start clowning them for an hour. But the pressure goes up with Michigan because, you know, this is our year. This is our year. Regardless of scandals, stallion, whatever, this is our year. Team full of seniors, juniors, young talent that is contributing. You know what I'm saying? We've been to the playoff 2 years in a row, won the Big Ten, beat Ohio State. This is the year, full of talent, The last playoff before the real playoff, the 12 team, it's time to get it done. So the pressure is on Michigan, but what takes some of the pressure off of Michigan, I think, is everybody's going to be picking Alabama. So now you get the underdog take. You know what I'm saying? And you always want to be the underdog. You know what I'm saying? Unless you just a team that's you just loaded, whether in all phases of the game, special teams, offense, run game, pass game, your defense locked down, then you don't care what you is. You know, man, we finna smack these dudes. It don't matter if we underdogs, favored. It don't matter, boy. We finna smack these dudes. You know what I'm saying? Unless you built like that, you don't really care what you favored or not. But I think in this matchup, everybody's gonna be picking Bama. You know, and boys gonna have to come out there and execute. They're gonna have to come out there and execute. Execution is everything. That's why I don't buy into Ohio State in this. They knew our signs. Any team that complains about that, they knew our signs. Boy, football is about execution. I don't care if you know my play. I tell you to play. Come stop it. Stop it. Come stop it. Oh, you know my play on defense? Come stop it. That's all football is about, is executing. Executing. You can have 4 plays. If you know how to execute those 4 plays better than anybody else, you know how to execute those plays perfectly, you're going to be tough to beat. Similar to Iowa. Everybody knows what I was running on defense. Everybody. But the reason Iowa's defense is consistently great statistically, year in and year out, you can count on that defense being legit, is because those dudes are well coached. They know the scheme inside and out. And when it's time to execute that defense, they're going to do it flawlessly. They're not going to make many mistakes. They're going to consistently out-execute your offense. And that's why they're good on defense. They don't put dudes. Iowa don't put dudes out there that don't know the scheme and know their job inside and out. You don't even see the field. You ain't going to see the field, youngster, until you probably a junior. Because you got to know my scheme. You got to know what you're doing, or I'm not going to put you out there. You know what I'm saying? And that's why they're good. Football is about execution. Crybabies, they can talk about stallions. That's crybaby stuff. Football guys, they know football is about executing. You can know the play, you cannot know the play. You think players don't, you think coaches don't see the same play and then signal to the players, oh, this play is coming, be prepared for it, and then you in the perfect defense to stop the play, and they still score a touchdown. You know why? Because they're better than executing that said play than you are. You can execute, you know? We've been in position to stop Ohio State all those years. In position on some of those plays in 2018, 2019. Knew what was coming, but you had guys that couldn't execute. Metellus out there at safety. I mean, he is in the NFL now, but for some reason during that Ohio State game, he couldn't execute. The dude could not make the plays. It's like when we had Metellus, this dude would make the worst plays. He would play good all year, and I would hype him up like, Metellus looked like he done took the next step. As soon as we play Ohio State, just making bonehead errors, bonehead mistakes. Wasn't able to execute. But I don't want to get on too long of a rant about executing, but that's what football is about. You know what I'm saying? That's why you don't see a lot of stuff. That's why you don't see a lot of stuff that we want to see. You know what I'm saying? Because it takes time to implement and execute that stuff in practice. It takes a lot of time. You know what I'm saying? I know sometimes we like to think it's Madden. And why don't they do it? Well, they don't. We don't see a lot of this stuff because you only got a certain amount of practice time. And to run that stuff in the game, it takes a lot of time to practice that and execute it. Coaches ain't gonna run that stuff in the game unless they're confident their players can execute it flawlessly. And to do that, you got to take up some more practice time. So that's that, But Michigan's team is just. I'm anxious to see. I'm anxious for this game. We got a month to talk about it. Yeah. That's the only problem with this. That's the only thing I hate about college football is the season's not over. The regular season's over, but now we got a month to stew and just stew about waiting on this. By the time in 2 weeks, we're all going to be tired of hearing everybody talk about this game. I'm going to be tired of talking about it in 2 weeks because probably later this week, next week, you're going to start seeing all the pregame videos for Bama and Michigan, and everybody's going to be talking about it inside and out, and you're just going to be full to the brim of hearing about the ins and the out. You're just going to be ready for the game. That's the only thing I hate about having a month to wait for these bowl games, or the big time bowl games at least. It's gonna be horrible. After about 2 weeks, by that third week, you're gonna be exhausted. You ain't gonna want to hear nothing about this game. You're just gonna be ready to watch the game. Like, bro, I'm up to my brim with hearing about it. I'm ready to see it play out now. Tired of hearing y'all talk about this game. But yeah, and I'm gonna keep it 100 on what my biggest worry is about this game. My biggest worry about this game, about Michigan, Alabama. My biggest worry is SEC speed and Alabama's talent level. That's my biggest worry. My biggest worry is Alabama smacks us in the mouth early like Georgia did, and our guys lose all their confidence so early that you don't got a chance. And let me explain that, because I know somebody gonna get mad. So I know somebody gonna get mad. When we played Georgia, our players knew they weren't finna win that game mid first quarter. Mid first quarter, they knew, and you could see it. And that's not to say this Bama team is Georgia. I'm just talking about SEC talent level. Bama's got guys that are fast, and they're 5 stars and all that everywhere. You know what I'm saying? So that's my biggest worry, is those dudes smack us early and it forces half of the team to lose confidence. Like, we can't play with these guys, because in our first 2 or 3 possessions on offense and defense against Georgia, Haskins got smacked in the backfield. Blake tried to outrun Jordan Davis going wide, and he caught him. And I know Blake was like, what the hell? This big ass dude done caught me going sideways. You know what I'm saying? Cade McNamara getting smacked. Like the offensive line just obliterated from the jump. So that was that. On defense, Aiden, Ojabo, them dudes couldn't get pressure at all, and they were running it. They were running it on our D tackles, which are usually more of a strength on our team. They were running it consistently on our D tackles. So within 2 possessions on offense and defense, basically our whole team lost their confidence. Our offense lost their confidence on offensive line, and on defense they pretty much lost their confidence. You know what I'm saying? So by the 3rd possession, our team, the team confidence, the team morale was low. It was very low. And this ain't saying nothing profound. We watched the game, we could see it. You know what I'm saying? So that's not to say we don't stand a chance or anything, but that's what I'm waiting. That's what I'm going to be anxious to see. Like, do y'all believe in, can y'all actually, because I believe Michigan against Georgia, I believe Michigan thought they were going to be able to run the ball and do what they, execute their offense and do what they wanted to do. And then they got smacked in the mouth. So I'm anxious to see, are you confident, and are you not only confident, can you hold up to these guys that are on a bigger and better talent level than you, a speed level than you? Because don't get it twisted, especially the offensive line. The offensive line, Barnhart, they have to, you're not going against Ohio State. Ohio State's D-line, they get pressure somewhat, but they don't get sacks. These edge rushers for Bama, they get a lot of pressure. So they get a lot of pressure, they get sacks. So it's going to be, don't get it twisted, our tackles are going to have to play an A+ game. Like beating Ohio State gives us confidence, but you got to understand the differences between teams. Bama's edge rushers are similar to Penn State's. You know what I'm saying? So that's the difference. So that's a big worry, Will these guys be able to hold up? So if we can't run the ball, or if the run game is stagnant, JJ can actually have time to throw and isn't running for his life. And this isn't me praising Bama. This is just knowing the strengths and weaknesses of both teams. But from what I watched, Michigan should be able to run the ball on Bama, from what I saw. I think the question mark is, will our tackles hold up good enough so JJ can throw it on them? If not, you're gonna have to put extra blockers. You're gonna have to chip those dudes. You're gonna have to give those tackles help, because you're still gonna need to pass. I don't think you're gonna be able to get out of this one with that Penn State game plan. I could be wrong. You know what I'm saying? I don't like to speak in definites most of the time, but I don't think you're gonna be able to get out of here with that Penn State. All right. It's shocking that we got out of Penn State doing that. That just speaks to how good this team is, that we could actually get away with running that ball 30 times straight and still beat Penn State. I guess it's good on our end, and it's just like, James Franklin, are you kidding me? If I was a Penn State fan and I watched us lose that game in that fashion, I'd be like, James Franklin, bro, you got to go. I probably would have went on one of them epic Don Brown rants watching that as a Penn State fan. Like, bro, you got to go. You mean to tell me we watched them run it 30 times and we couldn't stop them? We still lose? You gotta go, bro. You gots to go. But yeah, you know, these games, these playoff games with a month to prepare. This is where your great coaching really comes in. Like, it really comes in at this point. You got to pick them apart, and you have to be prepared for what might happen. Not just what you think is a weakness. Because you might go into the game saying, okay, we can run on Bama. And then you can't run on Bama. You thought it was a weakness because you saw it on film, but you can't do it. So you looked at the film and said, oh, I think we can run on these boys. And then you get out there and then you can't run on them like you want to. What is your game plan? You have to be prepared for everything. Like, these coaches better have these dudes prepared. Not just for one game plan, but for multiple. Okay, we got to switch it up. And honestly, and I'm not trying to be after I say this, I ain't gonna just be too negative, because I know people you don't even think we can win. It ain't about that right now. Right now it ain't about, oh, you don't think we can win. I'm just speaking on what I see. So this is the thing. The last 2 years in the playoff, our game plan going into those games, they weren't good game plans. They weren't good game plans. I'm just going to keep it 100, and that's all I'm going to do. The last 2 years going into the playoff, going against Georgia, going against TCU, our game plans weren't good. I'm just going to keep it 100. We had lazy game plans. Now, you can say Georgia's talent was too much. You could be right. But our game plan was still garbage. We thought we were just going to run the ball on them. We thought we were just going to be able to run it on them. And then we came back, and I'm not even going to get into that game, Georgia, even though the game plan was garbage to me. But I know people are going to say, well, they just had too much talent. So I'm just going to leave it alone. You got that one. Last year, the game plan was garbage. Because we thought, well, the coaches thought they're in a 3-3-5, we'll be able to run the ball down their throat. Okay. But if you watch the film, if you watch TCU, their defense was undersized, but they were fast. It was an undersized, fast defense. They fly around and they go. So watching the film, you should have known off the top, and you could exploit them downfield. So watching the film, you should have came into that game off top with eye candy. A ton of eye candy, misdirection, eye candy, all game, from the jump, running JJ. You should have been doing all of these things from the jump. But instead, they didn't. They wanted to run Donovan. They wanted to run Donovan from the jump. And then by the time they tried to adjust and put it on JJ, the game, you could feel the game. You could feel the pressure of the game we've already blown one possession in the red zone. TCU scored. They got that pick six. Now the game, the game tilted. And then you come back, you still try to do the same stuff. You know what I'm saying? We took too long to adjust our game plan against TCU. You should have been, you have to run JJ from the jump in these games. You can't be holding him back. Well, we're saving the run from JJ for the second half. We're saving that. Yeah, I know we could run it, and I see those yards that he could get on the read, but I'm saving that. What are you saving it for? If we lose, we're going home. Explain to me your reasoning for saving the quarterback run. Doesn't make sense. So, misdirection, eye candy, it was all there. Like, exploit these dudes with that and throw downfield. Like, I feel like if they would have really came out with as that being their game plan, JJ would have really shredded them. But knowing that their game plan was probably, I mean, he threw for like 330 and ran for like 50. If that game plan was from the jump, who knows what he would have had. You know what I'm saying? But the game plan was just bad. Like, you had to adjust. When you didn't have to adjust the game plan, if you broke down their film, the game plan was staring at you in the face, slapping you. Eye candy, misdirection, throw downfield, it's slapping you. You sitting there, our coach is sitting there, run Donovan. The game is slapping you in the face. And you still thinking, nah, I'm gonna run Donovan. Nah, I'm gonna run Donovan. Nah, I'm gonna run Donovan. Boy, you have to understand that. You can't, every game you don't want to just force what you, sometimes it's like, bro, understand what their weaknesses are and that you can really exploit them. At least throw to set up the run sometimes, because TCU flies to the ball. They flew to the ball. They had undersized dudes that flew to the ball, and they were coming with bad intentions. But the problem when you fly around like that, you get out of position. When you see misdirection and eye candy, you flow to it. Now you out of position. And we took too long to notice that. On the other end, when Georgia played them, they ran Stetson Bennett from the jump. They did eye candy from the jump. They weren't scared to throw down the field. So they set up the run with the pass, but they also ran their quarterback. They also did misdirection eye candy because they were smart enough to understand from the jump, TCU flies around. You got to, TCU flies around. You got to get them out of position with eye candy, misdirection, jet sweeps, that type of stuff. So that's the thing. Our coaches have to understand, you have to stop being so stubborn and just wanting to run the ball down everyone's throat. And honestly, Sharon Moore has done a better job of that. So me saying all that from last year, he's done a better job of that this year. But this is some real talk right here. And so going into the playoff, if you don't do it now, it's all for nothing. You got to come out with the game plan from the jump needs to be legit. We've never led in a playoff game, y'all. We've never led. So we need to come out strong and have that game plan where we can click from the jump. Now Bama's adjusted. You know, the last 2 years we've had to adjust. No, we need to make them adjust. Come out with a game plan, executing like, okay, Michigan has done their homework and these boys are clicking. They know the weaknesses of the defense. They know who to exploit, and these boys are executing. Where Nick Saban's saying, I got to adjust. Not us coming out and trying to run the ball. They stop it. We punt. We try to do it again. We punt again. And now we're looking like, man, we got to adjust. We got to do something. No. The game plan has to be on point, so they have to adjust. Yeah, I like that. I like that. I like that, where they got to adjust to us. Because we come out in the first quarter executing, and they wondering, can we play with these boys? Man, this Michigan team is for real. Can we play with them? That's what I want to see in the first quarter. To where Alabama is losing confidence and saying, did we deserve to be in the playoff? Man, Sharon Moore and Jesse Minter's game plan is on point. I'm not sure if we can play with these boys. Man, these dudes did their homework. They know our team inside and out. They know all of our weaknesses. They knew how to exploit us, and they're doing it to a T. I ain't felt that pressure feeling in that oh boy, we finna lose. I ain't felt that feeling pretty much at all this year. We haven't trailed in the second half. I don't know how it feels no more. I'm scared to go back to that feeling, y'all. I'm scared to go back to that feeling. I need to see us come out and execute on offense and defense in that first quarter. I swear these last two playoff games, bro, I ain't even get to settle in and eat my popcorn and nothing. Well, Donovan busted that big run. So it was like, woohoo! We're gonna, yes! I'm drinking the Kool-Aid. So Donovan busted that big run against TCU. And it was like, yes, okay. Then we get to the, what was it, the 15 or the 10, something like that. And then we get stopped on fourth down. So we get nothing. So it's like, what just happened? We just had a big run and then we just got no points out of it. You know what I'm saying? No. So if it seemed like it was going to be good, then it turned bad fast. So no, I want to see us come out and execute in the first quarter, jump on these dudes, get the momentum, make them second guess what they're doing. We haven't had that happen in these two playoff trips. It hasn't happened. Georgia destroyed us from the jump, and TCU out executed us, and the game plan wasn't good. It wasn't good. We didn't start exploiting TCU like we could until they abandoned the run and said, JJ, we're gonna use your legs. JJ, we're gonna use your arm. JJ, win us this game. We didn't start executing like that until they said, JJ, it's on you. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna run you, JJ. We're gonna execute we're gonna do misdirection. We're gonna do some eye candy. When they did that, the TCU game got very interesting. But it took too long. Plus some questionable calls, but that's neither here nor there when we're talking about game plan. You know what I'm saying? So that's the big thing. I'm tired of it, bro. I ain't felt that feeling in a long time, y'all. I ain't felt that we gonna lose feeling. I ain't felt it. I'm kind of scared of it. I ain't felt it in so long. We haven't trailed in the second half. I told y'all the last time, I don't know how it feels anymore. I'm used to us just out executing everybody. You know what I mean? It's on offense or defense. Y'all stopped our pass. Good job. We're gonna out execute you in this run game. Try and stop it. Oh, y'all finally stopped it. Good job. That's nice. Okay. You got the ball on offense with a chance to win. See if you can beat us. Out execute us on defense. Out execute our defense. Can your offense out execute our defense? And most of the time, instantly, it's a no. Within 3 plays, you know they can't do it. They don't even get to 4th down most of the time. Within 3 plays, they know, we know, and they know that they can't out execute us. Their offense can't out execute our defense enough to win the game. Whether that was Penn State, Maryland, Ohio State, take y'all chances. Okay, y'all finally stopped us on offense. Take your chances. Here you go. Win the game. Have your offense out execute our defense, and they can't do it. They can't even do it good enough to move the ball down the field, you know, to where you really think they can win the game. You know what I'm saying? So I ain't really felt the feeling like, oh my God, oh boy, oh God, what's happening? Oh boy, we're about to lose this one. Hey, that helpless feeling. Oh boy, we finna lose. We finna lose this one, man. We finna lose. We can't stop these dudes. We can't score on these dudes, and we can't execute. We finna lose. I ain't felt that feeling. All year it's been us just doing it to everybody. You know what I'm saying? So I've got a nice amount of trust that they've learned their lesson. That we can't be stubborn going into these games, these playoff games, and we really have to understand what these teams are doing and go at their weaknesses. Yeah, we can still try to do what we do, but the game plan has to be, we're going to exploit your weaknesses. I don't see why you wouldn't want to try to exploit a team's weaknesses, unless that's really just not what you do, unless it's really just something you don't do. Besides that, you got to try to exploit a team's weaknesses. You know what I'm saying? You can't try to pigeonhole it. You just can't do it. Not in this playoff. If I've learned anything, you can't be rigid in this playoff, and you got to understand what that team is doing and exploit their weaknesses, because they've got a month to prepare. They got a month to prepare. You know what I'm saying? So let's just go to TCU. TCU game. They got a month to prepare. They're knowing Michigan is going to try to run this rock on us. So we have to stop it. So our linebackers in this 3-3-5 and our players, we got to fly to the ball. We got to fly to the ball. We got to make sure Michigan don't run the ball on us. And you know what they should have seen, that they're going to have to do that to stop the run. And from the jump, they should have been play action. From the jump, it should have been eye candy, misdirection. From the jump, to exploit them being overly aggressive to stop the run. You got to notice this stuff early. You got a month to prepare, dog. You got a month to prepare. Ain't no excuses. I swear, if we come out against Bama and it looks like we haven't done any research on Bama's weaknesses or strengths in the first quarter, and then we end up losing. I don't care if it's close or not close. We get down early in that first quarter, and it looks like we're not trying to exploit their weaknesses. I'm gonna blow a gasket. I'm letting everybody have it. I'm gonna let you know now. Y'all gonna be like, man, this the old Johnny. This the old this the old Johnny. I promise I'm gonna blow a gasket. I'm gonna blow a gasket. Because I can't take it. There's too much time to prepare. There's too much time. Come on, brother, let me over, man. Let me over, brother, man. Yeah, there's too much time to prepare. So if them boys ain't coming out with the game plan to exploit whatever it is Bama does, I promise you I'm gonna blow a gasket. Y'all gonna be like, I ain't seen Johnny like this since Michigan State. Probably Michigan State 2021. Promise I'm gonna blow a gasket, bro. Because there's no excuse. You got a month to prepare. And I know I done ranted on this stuff for a while, but I feel like it needs to be said, bro. Because the game plans have been garbage going into the game, into these playoff games. Our game plans have been boo-boo. And we had to adjust. Shouldn't have to adjust. The game plan should be on point. You had a month, brother. You had a month to prepare for these dudes. You know? So that's just how I feel about it. Like, bro, I can't take it. I can't take another year of us in the first quarter looking like we got problems. Because we should have beat TCU. We should have beat them. And everybody knows it. And that's part of the reason a lot of these teams laugh at us in this playoff, because everybody knows we should have beat TCU. We were the better team. And I'm going to say this, and I'm almost at my destination. There's not many times, there's very few times in the playoff, since we've had this playoff, that the better team hasn't won. That hurts. That hurts. We're one of the few teams that was better than the team they played and lost. That hurts. That hurts. And it wasn't execution, it was game plan going into that game. It was the game plan. The game plan was trash, and they had to adjust. And I guess you could say execution by JJ. I'll give you that if you want to say that. But the game plan from the jump was boo-boo. Because they didn't run JJ. They didn't do eye candy. They didn't do misdirection from the jump, really. They just wanted to run Donovan down their throat with a broken hand. Come on, guys. You know, so that's the thing. But they got to get it done this year. The game plan, I'm looking at the coaches. Make Bama adjust to what we want to do, because we know what they're trying to do, and we know the ins and out of your team, Nick Saban, and we came out here prepared, and we execute. Now you got to adjust. Now your fan base got to be looking like, man, Michigan is this good? Man, we shouldn't have made the playoff. We didn't. I want us to come out to where in the first quarter, Alabama fans are feeling like, man, we didn't deserve to be in the playoff. That's what I wanted to see. And they could come back or whatever. I want us to come out where we're executing on both sides of the ball, where our game plan is so good and we're executing that Alabama's fans, they're looking like, man, did we deserve to be in the playoff? And then, you know, Nick Saban has to adjust and, you know, whatever happens from then on. But come on, at least give us that where we come out executing and looking like we deserve to be there from the jump. That's all I ask. That's all I ask. Because we ain't seen it. And you can't say I'm lying. We ain't seen it. So that's what I want. Yeah, I woke up on one today, I guess. I guess it was since I started with Steve Deace. But that's all I got for this one, y'all. I'm at my destination. Appreciate you joining, because this was a rant. This was a lot of ranting and raving. So I appreciate y'all. Like, share, subscribe, and as always, go blue.